Hello, Anidorks. Hope you're having a wonderful summer. Lord knows we are. It's been a very busy summer, so we're a bit behind. I didn't get the Minisode done this week, so this week we thought we'd do something a little bit different and maybe show some of you what's going on our Patreon. So this week's episode is actually the analysis episode of the first episode of the Animorphs television show, which on our Patreon, we are doing a listen-along episode followed immediately by an analysis episode. And the first one is up and the second one will be released in the coming weeks, assuming I don't implode from busyness. But that said, please enjoy this little freebie gateway episode of the AnidorksTV show podcast. And if you want to subscribe... Whoa, live thunder. Got to do this quick. And if you want to subscribe to our Patreon, you can find us on Patreon at Anidorks. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
These may be kids' books, but we discuss dark themes and mature content. There may also be some explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
We just finished episode 1. We're opening our sequences. Oh, we should all cheers. Oh, you already took it.
Re-clip my mic.
All right.
Spit it back in.
Eddie, spit that back in that can. All right. Cheers, everybody. First episode of the Animorphs. Nobody would have thought, Grip and Rip. Yeah, nobody would have thought a year ago when we started this show that three
It is
people.
almost a year.
It is that 3 people online would ask us to watch the television show.
Yeah,
But this show, I remember a Scholastic Book Fair on the second floor of our school. Mm-hmm. And in our school, there were a couple, it was like the weirdest school building because there was a courtyard built into it. It was a very square building. This was Sarah Lindemuth.
Oh, okay.
And so there was the multi-purpose room when you walked in with the stairs. You walked back, and then there was like a little courtyard and a weird, big windowed balcony on the second floor. And that's where they would have the shit stuff. So that was where the Scholastic Book Fair was. And I remember buying a book at the Scholastic Book Fair where it was like an alphabet book with all the names of the hurricanes. And yeah. You remember that? They read it too?
Hurricane something was
So anyway, I remember being on that second floor and buying what I now am guessing, and I don't know because we've read these books and I thought we would have run into this by now, but I don't know which book I got. I think it was one of the Animorphs, Andalite Chronicles. Because there's stuff in these books that I like all the books we've read, the first 10 books that we've read, I don't remember at all. 10 with Megamorphs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm counting the 9th book, which we're in the middle of, I guess. I haven't read that.
Some of us have finished it.
Eddie, I don't understand whose team you're on.
The Yerks.
I'm Yerked. I'm the Yerked one. I'm the cute Yerked one. Anyway, okay. So anyway, first episode, some subtle changes. There were some subtle changes.
A way to put it. But I think there were some pretty big changes.
All right, list them. List them all.
Okay, you're right. In the grand scheme of things, they weren't that big.
They were at the mall, at the arcade.
They were at the mall at the arcade. Tobias did not hook up with them there.
Yeah.
Right.
He just was cutting through the abandoned construction site for no reason.
Being way more mysterious.
He was being very mysterious.
Yeah, he was very
way more cosmic.
He was going to go buy drugs or something.
Yeah.
And
but very polite, he found that little hole in the fence.
He did.
And then he put it back the way it was.
That's pretty good.
So they run into everybody there, and then I feel like we got a lot less from Elfangor.
Yes, yeah.
We did not get anything about the taxons at all. And he didn't explain the Hork-Bajir and taxons. We didn't get that whole scene of him giving them information while Visser 3 is monologuing.
Yes, yeah.
And then Jake does not go through a newly constructed building and hide behind a homeless man who gets killed by a Hork-Bajir.
Yeah.
He instead crawls into like a. I know
Like
you
a
guys haven't
corrugated
seen.
tube.
Yeah, I know you guys haven't seen Doraemon, but it's a really famous like kids anime in Japan, and they always hang out around these like tubes.
Yeah.
It's like that, and he morphs Homer night one, 5 minutes after he learned.
He's eager to morph.
Yeah,
He's more horny.
He's more
more
horny.
horny.
Yeah. Still in character.
Yeah.
Tobias, we have not seen morph yet.
Oh.
And we didn't get anything about Tobias and Jake even really knowing each other at all.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, what's interesting is that we called that first episode Resident Freak Tobias as narrated by Jake because we felt like even though Jake narrated, Tobias
Tobias's book.
Right.
was kind of a main character. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever really happened again, but it still felt like Tobias was important here.
Yeah.
But they gave him so little to do.
Yeah.
He just, except that they had that, and I'm gonna go back to it, that weirdly meaningful interaction when Tobias is standing there with Homer, and Jake comes up, and he like pauses, he goes, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tobias goes,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real moment. That was a moment.
that
between
was
them.
like, whoa. It was like,
they're in love.
Yeah.
We witnessed a thing.
Although Jake and Marco very touchy as well.
Yes.
So,
Well, but I feel like we talked about this in the book series. Sorry. We talked about this in the book series where it seems like Marco and Jake probably did fool around, but they're like, this isn't. What?
Platonic.
They're platonic. They're like, we get what we need from each other with that. Like, yes, we were more horny together once.
Oh my
Guys,
God.
Stop. Anyway, all these people in this show are like
Children.
30. Yeah. They're 30. Anyway.
they
Yeah.
do all look very
Tobias
old.
in particular looks like
Yeah,
he's
he looks
on
like
his
frickin-
third job.
He
Like,
looks like what's the name of the guy? Dylan Ryder from Boy
Ryder
Meets World.
Strong?
Ryder Strong. Yeah, Ryder
no,
Strong.
he's got Ryder Strong vibes.
He's got
I
like
see that.
he's got that like and he's obviously
He's got the leather
50.
jacket.
Yeah.
He got the leather jacket. I thought was an interesting choice for Tobias.
yeah, he was very cool.
He's not dweeby at all.
No.
Yeah, not dweeby at all.
I
But
think like they did a pretty good job of showing us who everyone is, except Cassie, which was the books was kind of like this too. Like, I
Yeah.
actually feel like Rachel, Marco also got a lot of lines.
yeah, but Rachel was a very bland character though.
Yeah.
Like she was definitely like I liked her exposition of like I'm captain of the gymnastics
I
team.
did
feel
like that she was immediately like, I think Cassie said he looks like he's hurt. And Rachel was immediately like, I'm in. I'm going.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, no, that tracks. That reads.
We
Yeah.
do have to talk about the Rachel as elephant in the room. We have to talk about the fact that because Tobias was more skittish around Elfangor, so two things I want to hit. I'm going to hit them in this order. Thing one, the video games were futzed with in a really weird way where Tobias ran out of money and also Marco and Jake, who still had money in their arcade machine, it glitched out, so they had to leave.
And
Which-
Homer.
Well,
And
Homer
Homer
went
went running.
Because Marco seemed to think that they could salvage it if they stayed because they paid for it.
Right.
He was probably like, no, we're going to get someone out here to
Right.
fix this. We
Yeah.
paid for this. Like,
Which
Yeah.
is correct, but really importantly, we talked about how in the books it's really sold as a coincidence of fate.
Yeah.
Whereas like it just seems so obvious that the Andalite was guiding this.
Yeah.
And in this, it seems to have taken a stance of like
or
the Andalite.
even, I would even buy in this, it could be a coincidence, but the ship crashing and the intergalactic battle going on was the interference. I think it was probably intentional.
Disagree.
Hit the mic. I think it was probably intentional, but I think you could.
I think
see it
it's
that way.
undeniable because the alien knew Tobias's name.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
true.
I think, and that's
So you
the
think he
second
was
thing.
like jacked into the game because they were using their real names in the game?
Oh,
That's cool. I
yeah.
like that idea. But then we have another elephant as Rachel in the room, which is that because Tobias was more skittish around the Andalite, they used a different plot device, which is out beyond our scope of the books. Whatever, and
It could
Tobias
be, yeah.
was literally given a device by Elfangor.
Did he
said-
lose it? It seems like he lost it because
He
now
might
they're
have.
saying we need to look for it, right?
Oh.
But maybe. I mean, we'll see in second episode, I guess. But he said, "Guard it with your soul," which is
Tobias hurt his heart and soul.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
escalated it. But that is nowhere to be seen in the.
Well, so what I'm wondering is if we guessed
In the book series.
right away that Tobias and Elfangor, there was something going on. I think it was kind of a joke, but also like, no, it seems important because it's come up a few times that Tobias and Elfangor had a moment that even Tobias's narrator didn't tell us about.
Yes.
And I wonder if by the time this came out, they actually had progressed enough in the book. I wonder how many books they had written.
For sure, because I know that they're gonna get to content that we haven't read yet because they mix everything up so much.
Yeah, I looked at the chart. Did you look at the chart?
A while ago.
Yeah,
but so
it's like
I
the
wonder,
first 8 books and the first 8 episodes, but all mixed together.
Yeah, but I feel like it could be. Sorry, I just made a loud noise. I would buy that it could be a device that we actually would in the
physical
books
device
find later.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I think, I forget the year, but I think this is like 99, right?
So they were probably like, I think
They were literally in the 30s. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
probably in the 30s.
Almost
of the books.
done, yeah.
Yeah, because
Not
like,
almost done, but like
well, we checked
they
where
finished
we
publishing
were at.
in like what 2002.
We're only
so.
in July of 97.
Seven.
Yeah, we're like still really
we're in the
early
first
on.
year.
Yeah, the second year. Because the first book came out in 96.
Got
We're
it.
Yeah, we're in the first full year. You're probably
Yeah.
I wonder if they started publishing them in the school year.
Oh,
Like, I wonder if it was late in the year, like they started with like an August, September.
that sounds
Yeah.
right. It is like July. It's like July of in
Our
July.
current book is July, but
But
I
the
wonder if
first
the
one-
first book was like a beginning of the school year thing.
Don't you say it in our intro that I never listened to? In July of 1996 or something.
I just say in 1996.
1996, yeah.
Great up, guys.
Wait, I think maybe like just talking about, so we said right off the bat, the music definitely was signaling X-Files. Mm-hmm. What about the overall aesthetic? Does it feel like close to the books?
The aesthetic is giving me Buffy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Monster of the Week kind of thing.
I don't know.
X-Files,
I don't know about
Buffy.
that, but like just the way it's shot, the teenagers, the everything is giving me like, and we have a secret and we can't tell anyone.
Paranoia,
like,
definitely. Yeah.
is giving me a little Buffy meets. Never watched Smallville, but Smallville I think was darker, like visually darker. This is like mostly very bright, like visually, and that's what I think. That's why I'm leaning more Buffy than X-Files, because X-Files was thematically, visually darker, whereas Buffy, despite being darker subject material, was visually very bright.
Back in the beginning of the pandemic, I watched some episodes of So Weird, and like it does give me some. It's not quite Disney. Because Disney like looks better when like So Weird was a weirdly high budget show. The episode that I watched, so I don't know if you guys remember that show.
I did not.
So it's
So Weird was like X-Files for kids.
Yes, yeah, but it was a brother sister and their mom was a rock star and they were always on the road with her. And the episode that I watched
Great theme song.
Great theme song. Oh yeah, there was no theme song yet. We didn't see
yeah,
the
that
theme
is
song.
weird.
Maybe it was cut out.
Maybe.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure out. If we don't see it in the next one, we're going to take a break to pause and watch the
Yeah.
theme song. But it's So Weird, like they had in the first episode that I saw, there was like a 2 or 3 minute long opening shot with a crane.
Wow.
That like traced them down this thing, turned a corner, and then like went Steadicam down this thing, and it was like this whole meandering shot. This is very much so like we're throwing this together very quick. We shot this scene during the day. Fuck, it needs to be nighttime.
Nighttime. They were looking for Homer all
for
afternoon.
hours. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like you could tell with the way the adults were running that I get the impression like the adults with the flashlights in the like industrial yard, they were probably like staff. And they were like, we'll
can
just
imagine.
yeah,
Grab some
yeah,
PAs.
exactly.
Because
the
looking
way
at a
that-
SAG card, like
The way they were running was like very much like, we have to. You've seen people looking for people before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will also say, it reminds me of another Nickelodeon show a little bit. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes, big time. And this would have been a part of that block, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick.
I think we should talk about the Andalites and the Hork-Bajir, like the specs.
Oh yeah.
And maybe the morphing.
Yes. That's a great idea. Too bad we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
No, the morphing. How like I thought the visual was like
Better than I
good.
expected.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Better than the Andalites,
they
I think.
stayed
Yeah.
true to how like uncomfortable it was. They made a bunch of crunching
Bone crunching
That was
noises.
wild.
Yeah.
Another big deal. No tail that could do damage.
Yeah, we didn't see the blade tail
No tail
at all.
We didn't get.
We didn't get a good look at
The
the
Hork-Bajir didn't look like it was made of blades either.
No.
It just looked like it had like dinosaur feet and
that
chicken
one
hands.
shot where it was on like the margins, like right in the shadows, and then it was like,
And it's like Snakehead was like
yeah, like I feel like they couldn't have gone into making the show thinking we'll never see them head on. It must
There
have
was
been
already official artwork of
Yeah.
these things for
Yeah.
a long time by
Yeah.
the time they made this show.
they probably just
Totally.
couldn't get a good design.
Yeah,
like they,
because that also, I mean, the
It was puppet, right?
Hork-Bajir one almost looked more like I don't know. It almost reminded me of what like Kablam looked like.
Yeah.
You know, like a doll.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and we were watching Jose Chunks from Outer Space, and there's a stop motion alien in that. That alien, the third alien, Lord Kimbo or whatever.
Yeah.
Kimbo or whatever. That's a stop motion alien, and you can see from the like
jerky,
jerky. Yeah, but the Hork-Bajir was definitely stop motion, and the Andalite was definitely like a practical costume, and it looked like they just didn't finish designing it.
Visser 3's was done.
I didn't see all four
Visser-
legs. Did I miss
Visser-
that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Visser
Okay,
3
I
had
missed
all
it.
four.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, you
but in
did
the
miss that.
Elfin
You said dainty paws when he was walking
Yeah,
down.
in
Well,
the
I just didn't see the four.
Because the Visser 3 one looked like they actually got like a horse to do it.
Yeah.
It looked like it was actually walking, but the Elfangor one looked like they had like hooves on sticks
Yeah.
and they were
Yeah.
just going pip, pop, pip,
Yeah,
pop.
it was very- it
It's
was
really bad.
really
Yeah.
bad.
And then that tight shot of Elfangor's face. So for anyone who didn't watch along or didn't see, like, when Elfangor's giving them all the information, it's this tight shot on his face, but it's not all of his face,
You
and
don't
it's
see
not
them.
perfectly centered. You can't even really tell that he doesn't have a mouth.
Yes, yeah.
It's, like, really bizarre.
And they're using like his big green eyes as sort of like the communication, like as the puppetry.
Yeah.
Do you think that they switched out the same head but just changed?
For Visser.
I wonder, and if that's why they didn't want to show it so much, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be obvious that it was, like, the exact same
Right,
Yeah.
because
thing.
presumably this is the only episode where they need to
use
Elfangor.
Elfangor,
Yeah.
yeah.
The biggest complaint that I have is that the kids were so distracted while the alien ship was coming down.
Yes.
That they were like, sort of like talking and disinterested
While it was exploding in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the scene that worked best for me, which I think is promising for the rest of the series, like my favorite moment of that first one was cafeteria.
You okay, you felt at home there.
Yeah, I think it was more like their dynamic. I feel like the actors seem fine so far.
Yeah, they do
It
seem
took a
fun.
second in the cafeteria for it to like settle in for me. When it was like first happening, it felt very stilted, but like
Yeah.
as the scene went on, and then Chapman's leg fake.
Yeah,
Like-
which you called.
I
That
called.
was so good. I can't believe that was Chapman's leg scratch. That's so amazing.
Do you think it's just Chapman who
Chekhov's
does
Chapman's
it,
leg scratch?
or is it a Yerk thing? Like,
No, I think it's a
I
Chapman
think it's just
thing.
a Chapman thing, but I want it to be a Yerk thing.
Do you
I
think
want it
that-
to be like every Yerk is
Yeah.
Scratches
itchy
their leg like
ankles,
that.
itchy calf.
but did Chapman already do that, and the Yerk also feels the need to itch the leg, or did
I
the
don't
Yerk
think
start
Yerks-
doing?
I feel like Yerks aren't that good at acting.
So
I
it's
feel
just
like-
that Chapman's body is itchy, and the Yerk is like, oh, I
Yeah.
still have to
How
itch.
would a person scratch?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he could have checked his memory though. He
That's
could have
true.
been like, how does he usually scratch this?
Maybe,
Yeah.
I mean,
High level Yerk.
Yeah, what's Innis 226?
Innis 226,
So
yeah.
Innis 226 might be just a better actor than.
I don't
than
know.
most.
He sits in front of an off television.
But you gotta take time for
Well, we'll see
yourself.
though. He might not do that here.
Yeah, should we
Yeah.
get on the episode?
Let's do it.
Thanks for listening to Anidorks. We'll be back soon with lots more to say. Until the Andalites return, or at least until next time. See you soon.